All right. Welcome to the day six, the Bible in a year video. We are looking at, let's see, make sure we have the right numbers here. Job 10 through 13. Um, so we're on Job 9. All right. Job 10 is, you got to remember that the verses and chapter numbers are added to the Bible in the history of the Bible actually fairly recently. And so this would have just continued from 9 into 10. So we have Job's continue plea to God. And reading through this, there was something that kind of stuck out to me. I do like verse 9. Remember that you have made me like clay and you will return me to dust. Did you not pour me out like milk and curdle me like cheese? You clothed me with skin and flesh and knit me together with bones and sinews. And so even as Job cries out to God and he's complaining to God about all this hardship, he is recognizing that God is all powerful. Um, why did you bring me out from the womb? Would that I had died before any eye had seen me, and were as though I had not been carried from the womb to the grave. Are not my days few? Then cease and leave me alone, that I may find a little cheer before I go, and I shall return to the land of darkness and deep shadow, the land of gloom, like thick darkness, like deep shadow without any order, where light is as thick as darkness. Interesting though, where light is as thick as darkness. He doesn't assume that he's going out of the presence of God, that he would go into the presence of God because he is righteous. He is lamenting because he feels he's righteous, but is still suffering hardship. Zophar speaks out. He is intense, and you would start to agree with Zophar at first, and then you get to chapter 12, and it's Job's response, and you understand how Zophar really hasn't heard what Job is saying. So let's read just a little bit. Let's see. For you say my doctrine is pure, Job saying he is righteous, and I am clean in God's eyes, but oh that God would speak and open his lips to you, and that you would tell him the secret of wisdom, for he is manifold in understanding, meaning God knows all. Know then that God exacts of you less than your guilt deserves. So this is something we agree with largely in um, in Christianity is that we are deserving of judgment, that we have sinned against God, even the best of us have, and that God still shows his mercies on us regardless of our sin. And it would not be odd, God would not be in the wrong to judge us immediately upon our sin. And this is kind of the feeling that you get from Zophar. Can you find out the deep things of God? Can you find out the limit of the Almighty? Skipping down, if you prepare your heart, you will stretch out your hands toward him. If iniquity is in your hand, put it far away, and let not injustice dwell in your tents. So he is rebuking Job for seeming unrighteousness, but Job's not going to have any of that. Job replies, then Job answers and says, no doubt you are the people, and wisdom will die with you. But I have understanding as well as you. I am not inferior to you. Who does not know such as these? And so Job is saying, hey, I'm like you guys. I know this stuff. The tent of robbers are at peace, and those who provoke God are secure, who bring their God in their hand. He's saying there are people who are far more sinful than I am that seem to not be suffering like me. Why am I suffering? Then he gets to 13. With God are wisdom and might. He has counsel and understanding. If he tears down, none can rebuild. If he shuts a man in, none can open. If he withholds the waters, they dry up. If he sends them out, they overwhelm the land. With him are strength and sound wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. He leads counselors away striped, and judges he makes fools. So he's recognizing the power of God and the authority of God while still recognizing that maybe not recognize, but still lamenting over his suffering and that he feels he is righteous. He takes away understanding from the chiefs of the people of the earth and makes them wander in a tactless waste. They grope in the dark without light, and he makes them stagger like a drunken man. So God controls all these things. Then 13 is an interesting turn. Rather than lamenting, he still hopes in God. Job still hopes in God. So, will you speak falsely for God? He's speaking to Zophar, by the way. Will you speak falsely for God and speak deceitfully for him? Will you show partiality toward him? Will you plead the case for God? Will he be with you when he searches you out? Or can you deceive him as one deceives a man? He will surely rebuke you if in secret you show partiality. Let me have silence and I will speak. Let come on me what may. And so Job expresses that he does want to meet with God and plead his case almost. Why do you hide your face and count me as your enemy? Will you frighten a driven leaf, or pursue dry chaff? For you write bitter things against me, and you make inherent the iniquities of my youth. You put my feet in the stocks and watch all my paths. You set a limit for me, the soles of my feet. Man wastes away like a rotten thing, like a garment that is moth-eaten. Still lamenting, still crying out to God. The noticeable thing here is he does not curse God. He does not turn away from God. He does question God, and he wants to know why. And all this is going to continue to build up until we get to the end of the book where God shows up and talks to him. So our next reading will be 14 through, let's see, 14 through 16. So it's a slightly smaller reading, and we'll catch you on that next time. Continue digging through Job. Take it as a roller coaster ride, like a journey through Job's troubles. And only when we get to the end of the book will kind of our eyes be open, just as Job's eyes are open. So put yourselves in the feet of Job and walk through his suffering and his crying out to God. And this is beneficial to you because in this life there will be suffering, there will be hardship, and we need to cry out to God. We need to cry out to our Savior. We need to cry out to that arbiter that Job speaks about earlier in the book, that he needs to intercede for him. That's all I've got for you, and we'll catch you next time.